Greetings, my excellent friends. I am Gavaroc Fevinor, and this is the story of Hildibrand Manderville. Join me and my ever-loyal Gaelicat as we follow Hildibrand around and marvel at his adventures. Also, there's a green chicken here. When last we left off, Hildibrand had a problem. He's been tasked with retrieving a lost vase, precious to its owner. But when he found the vase, it had been broken into pieces under the careless stomping foot of this flamboyant oaf, who, to his credit, is at least a little apologetic. In order to repair this vase, we'll need the help of a master craftsman. Do we know anyone like that?
What manner of solution could he have? The vase looks to be beyond all hope to me.
The hammer. A shattered antique vase will not deter Inspector Hildibrand from his mission. There is but one person in all Eorzea capable of reconstructing this vase. A man whose skill with the hammer has brought rival goldsmiths low. So breathtaking are his works, so fearsome his competitive spirit.
This man is no mere goldsmith. You speak of him as one would of a great warrior.
Once, a notorious gang of thieves perpetrated a series of robberies in Uldar, targeting establishments which sold luxury goods. One such shop was owned by the humble lapidary of whom I speak. His was the last shop the thieves struck, for the following morning they were found, beaten, bound, and gagged at the Gold Court. The brass blades never learned who was responsible. The only information they had was the testimony of a thief who kept muttering the words, "The hammer! The hammer!"
He sounds dangerous.
Aye, that he does. And I do so enjoy the company of dangerous men. But where are my manners? I have yet to properly introduce myself. I am Gilgamesh, and that is my companion, Enkidu. Well, not really. It has been many moons since last I saw her, so to ease the burden of loneliness, I tamed a rooster and painted it green. In any case, you mean to search for this goldsmith, yes? If so, it would be my pleasure to help.
The pleasure is all mine, Gilligan. I, Hildibrand, agent of enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, bid you welcome.
If it is that hard for you to remember, I give you leave to call me Gil.
Excellent suggestion, Greg. Playful monikers are an effective means of building camaraderie. Call me Hildy. Now then, from what I know of the goldsmith's propensity to procure the materials himself, I have deduced that he is most like to be found in the vicinity of Blue Fog in northern Theralan. It is there that we shall begin our search. Right. Legendary goldsmith. The hammer. Does he have a partner named Tongs? Probably not. I think Hildibrand would have mentioned such a thing were it the case. But those are the sorts of thoughts that go through my head, and as an esteemed adventurer and warrior of light, those thoughts are very important, even when they're nonsensical.
If a Doblin became a zombie, would that make it a Zomblin or a Dombie?
Nashu Makaraka is also prone to very, very important thoughts. We search the carcass. The Doblin's wounds indicate that it was felled with a hammer. A trail of bloody footprints leads to the north.
I don't think it's been dead long. Maybe whoever did it is still around.
Maybe, Nashu. Let us ride our unicorn as we search on.
This goldsmith is not to be trifled with.
The basilisk's wounds indicate that it, too, was felled with a hammer. A trail of bloody footprints leads to the north.
A single blow to the head. Impressive.
Probably not very impressive for the basilisk. But for those who admire violence, yes, very well done. His handiwork is unmistakable. The corpse is still quite warm. The Doblin, the basilisk, this Ahriman, all were slain with a hammer, as was that beast over yonder, unless I am mistaken. Holy that is not a small animal. That chimera must be his latest prize, which means he must still be about. Mayhap he is watching us at this very moment, attempting to ascertain our intentions. He was ever a cautious man when on the hunt. What are we going to do, Hildy? Alas, it comes to this. Though every fibre of my being cries out in rebellion, I must break my oath and do the unspeakable.
Ooh, what must you do that is so terrible?
I must dance! Huh. And away he goes. I was, of course, mesmerized by the dancing. Shuffling back and forth. Smile pasted onto his face, though you could tell that he wasn't really feeling like it. The energy and intense focus that he put into these masterful moves were truly something to be behold, and I couldn't help but take away just an intense emotional catharsis at having witnessed this performance, and that was when he was just dancing. Because he didn't just dance. No. After a while, still shuffling madly, Hildibrand Manderville began to sing. I'm a Manderville man, doing what only a Manderville can, from the peaks of Curthus to Thanalan. Manderville man.
I cannot avert mine eyes!
That is the dance of House Manderville, passed down from father to son. Were I to perform it within sight of our quarry, he would not be able to resist revealing himself. Alas, I neglected to properly stretch my legs beforehand. My good man, I see no other solution. You must dance in my stead. Though it be a gross, nay, unconscionable violation of my family's traditions, I must bequeath to you the Manderville. And so he taught me the dance. And I have cherished it ever since, taking every opportunity possible to Manderville with great aplomb. But I was never quite so good as Hildibrand himself. Indeed, my gathered friends didn't even turn to look at me. almost as if they were mere machines and weren't programmed to react to human input such as this. But really, they were just doing me a favor. They didn't want to look at such an embarrassing shell of a performance compared to the master himself. So they averted their gaze. Out of respect. Still, I would practice this dance until one day I, too, could be a Manderville man.
What manner of man can be summoned only through dance?
Are you really going to do the Manderville? Ooh, I can't wait!
On second thoughts, maybe Nashu just didn't notice. The time has come for you to do what only a Manderville can. Manderville men. We are as siblings now, my constant comrade, for I have shared with you the secrets of House Manderville. Now you must use that knowledge. Go to the fallen chimera and dance like only a Manderville can. I'd taken time to practice the dance. Oh, sure, it may look as though only a few minutes went past between the end of the last section and the start of this, but actually you missed the time skip. You blinked, and you missed the training montage set to Eye of the Eorzean Tiger. I spent months practicing this dance before I returned to this dark desert valley to dance before the surprisingly well-preserved body of the slain chimera. It was time to summon the goldsmith. The chimera looked on, one of the heads seeming rather judgmental, the other one just seeming confused. With a solemn hero nod, I began. I felt the power flow through me, and I could only hope, deep down, that I'd managed. And then I heard it, echoing throughout Thanalan, in a voice quite similar to Hildibrand's, and quite familiar, actually, as though I'd heard it before somewhere.
Fancy yourself a Manderville man, you would do what only a Manderville can, then lift your legs and put up your hands. Be a Manderville man. He comes. You have naught to fear from me, naught at all. The only accounts I came to settle were with the chimera. But you were not drawn here by some coincidence, were you? No, you came in search of me, Godbat. Why else would you gyrate your hips in such a gentlemanly fashion, if not that? Wait, I know you. He of strong yet tender fingers.
And then it hit me. I did know this guy. Salamander oil. Always the salamander oil. What is it with Mandervilles and salamander oil? It was a place called Camp Bronze Lake, a retreat for wounded soldiers in Lenosha. At least that's who was supposed to be treated there, but there was this man, still wearing exactly as little, resting in the sauna. and demanding that I rub his back with oil. And I did. I don't know why. Several times. And now here he is. What is my life?
But, more importantly, how in the hells did you learn the Manderville? If I did not teach you, then who?
I felt like I was intruding on a private moment.
By the grace of thou! What sorcery is this? He yet lives?
I've never seen such speed. Such elegance. Such power. And mind you, at this point, I'd fought a lot of primals. But he just kept running.
Hildibrand Manderville! 10 years, Hildibrand. 10 years since you left home, and 5 since I learned of your trip to Dalamud. How long were you planning to allow your mother and father to suffer under the illusion that their beloved son was dead?
Son? You are Hildy's father? It was at this point that I realized that our friend Gilgamesh was perhaps a little bit slow on the uptake.
Godbert the goldsmith's a Manderville man, smithing as only a Manderville can. Oil him up and give him a tan. Fit for a Manderville man. Please, father, cease your undulations at once. There are more pressing matters at hand.
This antique vase must be made whole once more, for the sake of Miss Maria.
Do not worry, little one. I deal with worse cases before my morning bowel movement.
At that point, a mental image entered into my mind of Godbert that I never needed. But then he began to work. Very quickly.
Hold your applause until the end. Byagot, guide my hammer!
Well, that is improved.
Look how it sparkles in the twilight, how it radiates elegance. Would you all not agree that it is a work of art?
You've completely destroyed a priceless antique's historical value.
Nonsense. I have taken a dull, unremarkable vase and transformed it into something far superior. I hope you were paying attention, Hildy. How long has it been since you last held a hammer?
Father, That is not my path. I am an agent of enquiry, an inspector. It is my duty to help those in need. Miss Maria is one such person. There are others, too, innocent people whose weapons were callously ripped from their hands by a thieving duelist. I thought you would put away childish dreams. No matter, you will understand in due time. No, I will not. I am an inspector, father. I can be naught else.
Mr. Godbert, sir. I don't think my mother's going to like what you did. She probably won't let Mr. Hildibrand help with the investigation.
We cannot say that for certain, can we? Mayhap she will take a liking to this reimagining.
Have you met her?
You spoke of a thieving duelist, did you not? It so happens I am something of a duelist myself. Were we to cross paths with this fellow, I would welcome the opportunity to pit my skills against his. And Kidu as well, I should think.
I see you too possess a strong sense of justice. Full glad am I to have met you, Greg. Now let us return to Vesper Bay and see how our vase is received. Vesper Bay, you say? Ah, what a coincidence! I shall be travelling there on business once I have finished gathering materials.
I think I might have seen the demon bird which took my weapon. Go on without me. I shall follow it on.
It was at this point, somewhere in the recesses of my mind, that I began to harbor just the slightest suspicion regarding our friend Greg. Because we were looking for a mystery duelist obsessed with collecting weapons. And here was a man who called himself a duelist and seemed to really like weapons. Of course, I'm not an inspector. I am just an adventurer, you know. My thing is violence and heroics, not brain stuff. Despite how tremendously intelligent I look in my wonderful outfit. So, I decided not to act on this suspicion and just leave it kicking about within my brain. And rely instead on the expertise of the professionals. Mayhap Miss Maria should be the one to present the vase.
I hope she likes it.
If every component of an object were to be replaced, could the resulting object be fundamentally considered the same? Philosophers are unsure. Godbert does not care.
Mother, I brought you the vase.
By the gods, have you all no shame? How dare you make my daughter complicit in your chicanery? I don't know where you found this gaudy trash, but it bears no resemblance whatsoever to the vase I purchased. Now see here, Lady Dorilda. Not only did you send Maria to fetch your priceless vase alone, placing her in considerable danger should bandits or wild beasts attack, which they did, but...
Gaudy... trash?
Lord Manderville, sir, I did not realize you had arrived. Though I know it is nothing compared to the lavish accommodations an esteemed gentleman such as yourself must enjoy, I pray my humble abode meets with your satisfaction.
Oh, it does, my lady, it does indeed. Especially since that exquisite vase over yonder. Although I gather from your previous comments that you do not like my reconstruction.
Your reconstruction?
Oh, I don't like it. I love it. I would go so far as to call it the new centerpiece of my Thorn Dynasty collection.
Ah, what a relief! I would have been most distressed had you said otherwise. We Mandervilles do so take pride in our work, and never strive for professional perfection. Oh, but why am I repeating what my son Hildibrand doubtless told you when he offered to investigate the duelist's threats? Enough expository banter, I say.
I cannot recall if your son used those precise words, but I do remember thinking that his help would be most welcome. You will be helping us, Inspector Hildibrand, will you not?
Wait a minute. Your father is Lord Godbert Manderville.
The man who took Yolanda Quiveron's seat on the Syndicate?
It appears there have been a great many developments over the last 10 years, of which I was completely unaware. In any case, we must redirect our energies towards the investigation of the thieving duelist. Our first order of business will be to review all the facts with consenting Inspector Briardier.
I don't remember that being his official title, but nonetheless.
I hope I did not speak overmuch earlier. My wife would describe it as a proclivity to pontificate, but I prefer to think of it as an earnest desire to establish rapport with my fellow man.
I think she likes it.
I get the distinct impression that she doesn't in fact like the vase, but instead is terrified of the incredibly rich and powerful man which just wandered into her home and claimed responsibility for the item.
Come, we have a thief to catch. Let us seek out Inspector Briardier at once.
Where is he? Oh, well, this is convenient. Why are you still here?
Allow me to elucidate. Lady Dorilda has asked that we assist with the investigation. Now, kindly share with us all your information.
Fine. Our plans have advanced to a stage that even you couldn't ruin them anyway. I commissioned several reproductions of the Treaty Blade through a merchant named Jojompa, who traffics in counterfeit antiques. These blades have been delivered to the Observatorium, where they are being distributed amongst Lady Dorilda's sellswords. Once I give the order, they will transport them via alternate routes to Vesper Bay.
Oh, I think I get it. You're hiding the real transport with a bunch of decoys, right?
They're all decoys. The moment the thief strikes, all our forces will converge on his location, including those disguised as small folk along each route. The real Treaty Blade will remain in the original owner's vault until the thief has been apprehended. Everything has been accounted for. You are superfluous. Okay. Mayhap we could use more small folk to watch the roads in and out of the observatorium, assuming you have the capacity to conduct yourself in an unassuming fashion.
Fear not, my fellow inspector, for I am a master of disguise. Have you any information regarding the duelist himself? A description?
You never thought to ask Humphrey, did you? The thief is said to be a towering brute dressed in red who wields a halberd.
A man so garishly dressed should be easy to find in snowy Curthers.
Then I suppose we don't need your help after all, do we? Come or don't, I couldn't care less.
Be seeing you.
Pray forgive my lateness.
Greg, my good man! What a pleasure to see you again! We just received new information regarding the weapon thief. A victim described him as a halberd-wielding brute dressed in... what was it again? Right. A ridiculous outfit!
A ridiculous outfit? Now I am intrigued. What reasons would a warrior have for wearing impractical clothing?
Ha ha! What reasons indeed! It is enough to make a gentleman laugh!
It was at this point that my previous suspicions began to get a little bit more insistent. But of course, if Hildibrand wasn't seeing anything untoward about Gilgamesh, then I would not want to steal his thunder. Actually, come to think of it, Hildibrand is not exactly given me any reason to believe in his competence.
I think Gilgamesh might be a baddie.